The three organs of the government are legislature, executive and judiciary. The legislature makes the laws, the executive implements those laws, and the judiciary interprets the made laws. By putting laws into effect, the executive enforces the will of the state. When it comes to India, the Prime Minister is the real head of the executive and the President is the nominal head of the executive. In this video, we will learn the process of the election of the Indian President. As per Article 324, Clause 1 of the Indian Constitution, the presidential elections are conducted and overseen by the Election Commission of India. Unlike the Prime Minister, the President of India is not directly elected by the people. Instead, the President is elected by the representatives elected by the people. In other words, the President of India is elected indirectly. But who are the members of this electoral college which elects the President? Let us look at Article 54. It talks about the election of the President. According to this article, the electoral college consists of the elected members of parliaments of both houses and elected members of all state legislative assemblies in the country. By the 70th Constitution Amendment Act of 1992, the elected members of legislative assemblies of the National Capital Territory of Delhi and the Union Territory of Puducherry were also included within the Electoral College. The intention behind this was to allow more citizens to participate in President's election. But what about the elected members of state legislative assemblies which have been dissolved or not constituted? See, they will no longer be members of the Electoral College and therefore will not be entitled to vote at the presidential polls. The Legislative Assembly of Jammu and Kashmir has not yet been constituted since the elections are yet to be held. Hence, Jammu and Kashmir Legislative Assembly wasn't included in the Electoral College in the 2022 presidential polls. As per Article 62, the presidential polls should be held and completed in such time that when the term of the outgoing president ends, the president-elect enters the office. Therefore, the presidential polls should be held even if some of the legislative assemblies are not in existence. In general elections, people vote to elect national and state-level lawmakers. In presidential elections, the elected national and state-level lawmakers vote to elect the president. In general elections, each person has one vote and every vote has equal value. But in presidential elections, the votes do not have equal value. Different states have different populations and different numbers of MLAs. Naturally, the value of the vote of electors representing a numerically larger number of people would be higher than that of electors representing a lesser number of people. In order to achieve uniformity in the scale of representation of different states in the presidential election, we take the value of the vote of an MLA equal to the total population of the state divided by the total number of elected MLAs in the state and this whole divided by 1000. An important thing to note here is that the total population of the state shall be taken as per the 1971 census and not the present population. However, the total number of MLAs in the state shall be as per the present numbers. The nominated members do not participate in presidential elections. Also, in the states having bicameral legislatures, the members of the state legislative councils do not participate in the presidential elections. For better understanding, let us calculate the value of the vote of one MLA in the state with the largest population, that is Uttar Pradesh, and the value of the vote of one MLA in the state with the lowest population, that is Sikkim. The present population of Uttar Pradesh is over 24 crores. But we will have to take the population as per the 1971 census, which was about 1/3 of the present population. Now, Uttar Pradesh Legislative Assembly has 403 seats. Dividing the 1971 population by 403 and then dividing this whole by 1000 as per our formula gives us the round-off value of 208. So the value of the vote of one MLA from Uttar Pradesh state is 208. If we multiply this by the number of seats, we get the total value of votes from all the MLAs from Uttar Pradesh. Similarly, we can calculate the value of the vote of one MLA in Sikkim. It comes out to be 7. Can you see the huge difference population makes to the value of votes? If we continue this exercise for all 28 Indian states and for the Union Territories of Delhi and Puducherry, we will get the total value of votes of all MLAs in the country to be over 5.4 lakhs. To achieve parity between the union and all the states, we take the value of the vote of an MP equal to the total value of votes of all MLAs in the country divided by the total number of elected MPs. The nominated members of both the houses of the parliament do not participate in the presidential elections. Putting in the values, we get the value of the vote of an MP equal to the round-off value of 700. Multiplying this value with the total elected seats in both the houses, we get the total value of votes of all MPs in the country to be over 5.4 lakhs. Adding the total value of votes of all MLAs and MPs in the country, we get the total value of votes of all the electors to be over 10.8 lakhs. This number represents the total electoral college votes if there is a 100% turnout, none of the seats is vacant, and all votes are valid votes. But in reality, this number is lesser due to vacancy, absence, blank and invalid votes. In order to win the election, the candidate must secure a fixed quota of votes. This electoral quota is equal to 50% of the total number of valid votes polled plus 1. Let us look at the election process with the help of an example. For the simplicity of calculation, let us assume that the total number of valid votes polled is 10,85,000. So the electoral quota would be 50% of this number plus 1. It comes out that the first candidate who secures 5,42,501 electoral college votes will be declared the winner. Suppose there are only 3 candidates in the presidential race, A, B and C. Their names will be written on ballot papers and each member of the electoral college will be given 1 ballot paper. The electors will have to indicate their first, second and third preferences by marking numbers 1, 2 and 3. It is not necessary for the electors to mark all 3 preferences. They can also give just 1 or 2 preferences. But marking the first preference is compulsory for the ballot paper to be valid. Now the electors will cast their vote and on a pre-decided date the counting will begin. Suppose these are the electoral college votes against these combinations of ballot papers. In the first phase, the first preference votes of the candidates are counted. The votes in all the ballot papers where candidate A has received the first preference will be added. In our example, it comes out to be 3,25,000. Similarly, the cumulative votes in all the ballot papers where candidate B has received the first preference come out to be 3,85,000. And finally, the cumulative votes in all the ballot papers where candidate C has received the first preference come out to be 3,75,000. So in the first phase, candidate B is leading. Had it been a general election, candidate B would have been declared the winner as he has secured the majority. But in the case of a presidential election, it is necessary to secure the fixed electoral quota to win. Since none of the candidates secured the required quota, we will enter the second phase. Since candidate A has received the least number of first preference votes, his ballots will be cancelled and the second preference votes mentioned on those ballots will be transferred to the first preference votes of the other candidates. After doing this, we notice that candidate C has secured the required quota. So the process will stop here and candidate C will be declared the winner. We have seen this example with 3 presidential candidates and a certain number of combinations of ballots. After understanding the concept, you will be able to do this with any number of presidential candidates and any number of combinations of ballots. I hope you got the concept. For more, you can check these articles related to the President of India. Thank you for your time.